Hello everyone, Nordic Beast here, and it's my triumphant return back to the shipyard. So I got a lot to cover today. This is a lot of the spacefaring vessels, predominantly the small ones, that I've been working on the last few weeks. Really no large ships, just a station and a bunch of spacecraft. Now, like I said, these ones are only going to be space or transatmospheric. The next episode will probably be atmospheric or ground vehicles. So, let's get started. Now, this, real quick, this is actually yet another room I made around the gas giant. Yeah, let's... Well. And these planets are, I believe, the planet and then these are actually moons, are Dante? I want to say... Let's take a quick look here. Yes. Yeah, Dante. Dante SV. So yeah, if you look in the workshop for Dante under planet mods, you'll find it. And that is like the first Dante planet, and then the rest are all like these little moons. Oh, here we go. Little ice moon. So this is actually a map that from the last one from my last shipyard that wasn't Lacarthian and Wiseman. Come on, get out of there. There we go. Which I think this is like a Earth-like one as well. What is... It is just not happy. No oxygen here either. Interesting. I wanted to make an adventure map. Some place where I could explore and things like that. And it's not just for me, but I mean, something that would interest me, but for other people. And this map uses... the Grand Exploration mod, which I have a few ships in, quite proud of that. Enhanced... Oh, there's one over there too. The Enhanced Respawn mod, which is by the same gentleman. There's a couple others in here, but it's predominantly those two that I find interesting. Here we go. Oh. Aren't you a pretty little dust ball? Yeah, you look like just sand. I like that view. Oh, that's a pretty view. Love doing that. Anyway, so the idea is just you make it off this world, or you're in orbit around it, really, so you could land down on there. You would have pirates, drones, everything turned on, as well as what are the cargo ships? Couldn't think what the hell they were called. That's on the other side of the world. Here we go. And, you just go out and explore. You're kind of manning this space station that I will show you here in a second. There we go. Alright, just make sure my camera's back. So, first off is the space station. The silver one back there is mine. I based it... Oh, looking at it upside down. I based it off of this one. This one, it's just called, like... ES Hangar. That's it, just ES Hangar. I'll have to find the author's name, and I'll put it down below. And I really love this station. I love the layout of it, but the hangar's not really all that big, and I feel it's very over-armed. I mean, it's got a rocket launcher and I think 3 or 4 turrets? Gatling turrets, I mean? Yeah, 4 Gatling turrets and a rocket launcher. I mean, that's a decent-sized ship. And it actually technically is. So I use the same layout, and I built this space station. So as you can see, they're very, very similar layouts, and but I just used it as reference, and I really liked how I had like the big docking arm back here. You see, I got that from there, a little landing bay, and the big window on top. Now with mine, I put in like supports to hold the window up, and the interior is 100% different. All I did was use the general layout for it. So credit still goes to that author as being a very big inspiration for this station. The station moves ridiculously slow. It does actually have 3 fully upgraded assemblers, as well as a fully upgraded refinery. So you could use this as a extremely easy start station. And for this map, which I'm not saving all this here. Obviously, when I'm done, I'm going to hit no save, and it's going to go back to the adventure map. For the adventure map, I did have my ripsaw, an updated version of my ripsaw over there, and these two. This is an old drill ship I designed a long time ago. I found it in my blueprints, and it's very, very simple. It's extremely stable and easy to fly. Very straight-through method of conveying. Runs on 4 small reactors, and that's pretty much it. And it can drill all the way through. Like, it can... it's a tunneler, which is odd. All right, why do I keep getting these stutters? This is a recent thing. Keen. So then, of course, the Cubert from the, I can't think what it's called, the NID server, the NID whitelist server. I made this on there, little Cubert. So I figured just 2 very simple ships. You know, you got a welding ship, you have a drill ship, and then technically the, God, I can't brain today. The Ripsaw I was just talking about has grinders on the front, so it's technically a big old grinder ship, which allows you to salvage. Oh, you know what? Why am I closing you? Open up. By the way, this is fully pressurized. Holy hell. This is fully pressurized. There's air vents here and back here. And I will show you the crew area. Oh, which, by the way, got a connector here because originally that connector wasn't there. I put it there because both those have rear connectors. And as you see, all the connectors are on the floor, which is normally my layout. But all my utility ships, they seem to be on the back. My fighters are always on the bottom. So. All right. Go in here. This is a first for me, where I put the air vent on the floor with a ground-down walkway, catwalk. I have fully oxygenated medbay back here, some cryopods, and a bedroom. Just a single one. Just got a nice, pretty view. Actually, my wife came through here one day and saw me looking out that. She's like, "Wow, that's a really pretty view." I'm like, yes, it is. So here's the big window. And as you see, like how I put like these angled blocks here to kind of lift up the room. That's why I had to put the supports to hold the window in. Otherwise, it won't stick. And I refused to change the aesthetics just for a little function. I'm stubborn that way. And then here's the arm leading to is the docking arm. Whatever. Alright, so that's pretty much this space station. Just gonna depressurize. I'm terrible. Okay, so this thing is a little scout vehicle I've been working on. In fact, this here is the original. I really wanted it to be a fighter design, and I just wasn't happy with it. I was trying to do a different nose as opposed to the elongated one I do on all my fighters. But that one still looks way better than that. But for the updated version, I put like these little winglets along the edge of the nose. But anyway, so the original didn't have guns or anything. I was just going with the frame, and I mean, it flew all right. And Dracul got his hands on it, and he didn't like my thruster layout, how they're like stacked like that. And so he wanted to make a flatter one, so he made this. And I thought it was really nice. It looks very pretty. And yeah, you can definitely tell this is a Dracul redesign. And I mean, it's nice, it's very pretty, it's very sleek, but I didn't like that, again, you're lacking thrusters now. So it was just in my blueprints for years. Not really years, more a couple months now. And I got it out and decided, you know what, I don't want to make a fighter out of it. I want to make a scout. So here, let me dock it, undock it. There we go. So as you see underneath, we have a couple of atmospheric thrusters, actually 6. And there's 4 in the back, and that's it. So it's very fast. It takes off like a bat out of hell in atmosphere. Whoop, no, there we go. And I really enjoy flying it, and it's got the laser antenna on there for communications. I actually used it attached to the Ripsaw to go explore one of the little worldlets out there, and went down, landed on the planet, and came back up. And this was in survival, mind you, just testing out the adventure map. And it was really nice. Like, there's no guns on it at all. It's just designed to be able to get you down to a planet and then take back off, like just a single-person scout ship. That's it. It could use a single gun, which, I mean, you could probably mount right here easily, because that's where as you can see, where the old guns were. just to give you one gun against like spiders or something like that. But otherwise, it doesn't really need firearms. Oh, you see, I added some extra thrusters in the sides. But yeah, it handles well. It's really nice. I enjoy it. So, all right. First up, I'm going to show the Swan here. This is my new updated variant of the Swan. Let's see. Boop. Let's go with 9. Oh, yeah. Check that shit out. So, as you see the reloading, single rocket pods now seem to reload after 4 shots, as the reloadable rocket launchers don't. But I really like this. This is the, I believe this is Whiplash's weapon sequencer script. I finally got it to work. So I got it to work with the Swan. Later I'll show how these puppies work. These are custom-made missiles. I cannot remember the script author's name. Let's take a quick look, why don't we? Alright, so we will go to Program. Boom. Let's go Edit, Browse Workshop. Give this a second to pop up. Missile script. Details. Doesn't say by who. And unfortunately, I can't open up, I can't shift tab when I'm recording, which is unfortunate. But anyway, this script is outstanding. But sometimes these missiles don't always want to work the way they should. I have had them basically not get their lock and then swing around and attack me. They also have a single small ship warhead inside, buried in there, which is why it has a sensor. The sensor will detect blocks and explode, but only enemy blocks, and small and large ship, that's it. So they will detect a block and boom, explode. And they do quite a bit of damage. Now the reason I did that is a lot of the time when they're maneuvering, especially against small ships, which the warhead does more, it's far more effective against small ships. Sometimes it'll hit and it'll just knock you around and it won't do damage. So I decided to put that warhead on there, and it'll even do damage to large ships. It's pretty impressive. I've gotten 2 hits on my Sif, and it actually broke through the armor, which is 1 to 2 layers of light armor and a layer of heavy armor, and it was actually able to break through. So it was pretty impressive. I would actually say, if you were to design missiles using the easy missile script for use against large ships, no warhead. For use against small ships, put a warhead on it. It really helps. So, yeah, that's the update to the Swan, and it's still a heavy bitch and very angry. The only thing I wish I could do is I've been flying it a lot lately, and I keep shooting the undernose with the guns. Only during some maneuvers, but it's one of those things yet again. I refuse to move them because there's nowhere else where they'd be pretty and accurate like that. Because when they do hit, they hit like a truck. So, all right. So this guy here has no name. I wanted to build something big like the Swan, but for space use only. There is no atmospheric thrusters on here, despite the fact that it looks atmospheric, and it actually handles quite well. Now this has fully conveyed reloadable rocket launchers, and also uses that script. I have to timer trigger now. There we go. So it's not, because there's only 4 launchers, it's not super fast like the cluster of 12 over there, but they are quite effective. They do, spread out a bit. And this thing actually, as you can tell, accelerates. I'm going at an angle here. But yeah, it accelerates quite well with 8 large thrusters. It has 2 large thrusters in all other directions. And I realize this thing looks like it's out of a top-down anime, like Japanese shooter. Look at it. I've never looked at it from that angle. I find that very, very amusing. So yeah, this was just an attempt at, making a very large, effective space fighter. I feel it's a little too big because it itself is quite the target. Let's see if I can finagle my way back in here. Ooh, that's something I forgot to show you about the Swan real quick. But, you know, for me it's more of a proof of concept. I just, what really started was I saw a ship with rockets in it, normal rockets, in that shape. And I liked the idea, and I thought maybe I could make an atmospheric shape with the rockets. And once I got it down, I'm like, you know, I could probably make a pretty effective space fighter. It'd be big, you know, and then thinking about the Swan, wonder how big and strong I could make it. My only real issue with it is reverse thrust. Only 2 thrusters for reverse is a little low for its weight. But overall, I felt it handled quite well. Okay, so next up for the Swan. Let's see, are you owned? No, and you are owned. Okay, so I need to own this. There we go. Holy crap. That is the longest time I've ever had to dock with this thing. So now I have a fully jump capable Swan. Boop. 2,000 kilometers because it is so tiny. Look at that. And yeah, so I showed this to Dracul. The first thing he was like, man, I gotta make one of those. Alright, so up next. This here you probably recognize my Hawk Wasp. I posted this a while back, which is actually in another mod, but I cannot remember the name of the mod. It's like Enhanced Pirates or Here Be Pirates, something like that. It's a pirate mod. It's about either more or less frequent spawning of pirates. So I really liked that it was reactor powered. Now the Swan is almost all battery powered, but it can fly for a good hour at full power. In atmosphere, that's not so great, like especially because it's transatmospheric. So, you know, you're wasting a lot of power flying up into space and vice versa. You know, it limits your flight time. With this, it's one reactor. I wanted to make something bigger. So this is the Super Hawk Wasp. I don't even know what I was doing. And yeah, it just kind of came to be. It does actually have merge blocks. It only has the 2, one on either wing. It can use the standard Swan weapons just fine. The only issue is that the landing gear is kind of recessed, so it kind of sticks all the way to the ground. So that's kind of an issue. Very focused firepower in the nose, not hitting any part of the ship. It's ugly as fuck, but it works. And I also have the atmospheric thruster there. So it has, what, 1 large and 2 small? Yeah, 1 large, 2 small. And 1 large in the back, but 5 ion thrusters. And 1 atmospheric on either side. And I believe 2 reverse? Yeah, 2 small reverse. Just enough to help you slow down during flight. And I am very pleased with this thing. It accelerates well. Now, in space, it has 4 small thrusters in all directions, 8 for reverse, and it's not enough. But this thing does have a lot of rearward thrust, so it does allow it to kind of corner using the rear thrust. So just, you know, if you're flying this, you got to be careful with that. I liked the tail that for the Hawk Wasp, which is based off of the Hornet from Star Citizen. So Hawk Wasp, you know, is a large hornet-like creature. Well, it's more like a wasp, obviously, but whatever. I was kind of going with the bug theme. Oh, let's not hit stuff. So as you can see, this thing kind of slides around. In atmosphere, it actually handles not too bad, to be honest. All right. Are you done? You done sliding? Because I'm done. Thank you. All right. So it's actually not a bad fighter, and the thing is is this would be a bit more cost effective because it runs off of 2 large reactors. It would be a bit more cost effective than the Swan. I still love the Swan a lot more, and I feel the Swan handles better in both, well, I'd say in space more than in atmosphere. It also carries a bigger payload, but this would probably be the more logical design. Like, say Space Engineers went massively multiplayer, this would be the smarter choice to go. So, all right, next up is, well, it's also the last one for today. I have no name for it. It is a pirate scavenger salvager fighter. I built a fighter around a grinder. My original thought was like just a joking thought to myself, and it was, what if a fighter had a melee attack? So I put a grinder. Well, I started with the grinder and decided to build around it. So then the guns came, and then all these little reactors, which, yes, they're exposed, but you have a lot of them, and it runs on just those reactors. I believe, yeah, I got the backup one back here, the jump start. And what's funny is it actually follows the old fighter competition rules from before dampeners got nerfed, which still upset me months later. Way to go, Keen. It has, what, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16... Yeah, 16 small thrusters and 4 large. The original one was 20 small thrusters, I believe, and 4 large, which eventually went up to 5. Yeah, it went up to 5. And, this thing, I mean, it handles pretty well. Let's see, 22,000 kilograms. You see it accelerates all right. Its deceleration is nice. Now, with the one large ion thruster under there, you know, you lose it, you feel it. Yeah. Oh, this also has the missile script, or the sequenced weapon script. Though it's... pretty much no reason to have it, because it's not quite working. For just the 2 weapons. But, 6 cannons, which is brutal. And the thing about this is, it also has an ore detector on the nose, right here. As an ore detector, a beacon, an antenna. The only thing I don't have on here is a laser antenna and a cryopod and a med bay. Like, it's everything you could need for, you know, an aspiring space engineer's adventurer. And actually, I think this thing would be pretty practical to use as well. Oh, that's the other thing. I actually landed this on a planet. Like, not crashed, actually landed it, because it has enough thrust to be able to take off with using just the ion thrusters. And I was able to bring it down to a planet and land it on its tail, and then lean it over on its landing gear. I was very, very proud of this. So, this has no name, and this is one I would actually like to post. I just don't know what the hell to call it. And like I said, if Space Engineers was to become massively multiplayer, or, you know, the servers would have, say, like 100 people on there, this would actually be a half-decent starting ship. You can fight pirates, you can defend yourself, and then you can salvage. It only has 1 medium cargo container, but that's more than enough for your salvage. You could also be a pirate or a raider with this thing. And even a militia could use this. You know, you take out an enemy with a highly effective fighter, and then be able to salvage up. It can be its own cleanup crew. Oh, and as you see here, I have... What's that? Ooh, the trader. That's cool. That's part of the Grand Exploration mod. I got this from Marcelo. I started doing this, putting in little decoy blocks. Actually, come up here real quick and look at the Swan. Is this... No? Oh. I must not have kept that. That was something... Come on. Let's go. Not you. You. Yeah, I had done that, and I'm surprised I didn't keep that in there. That was a feature I've really been enjoying, because it's nice having turrets shoot at your, you know, harmless wingtips, you know, your not particularly useful wingtips, as opposed to your components. especially since I put a lot of components in the nose of my fighters. So yes, it has little decoy blocks on the side, and this does actually follow Marcello's design of putting the cockpit in the rear. Now that was just out of convenience, and I believe the air tank is on the bottom. Yep, right there. There's the air tank. Behind the, does it have an oxygen generator? I can't remember. Oxygen. Nope, just the tank. Okay. So just an oxygen tank. But still, this thing's pretty fancy. And since it doesn't really look like anything I would have made, I gave it a paint job unlike anything I'd made. And believe it or not, this is actually the paint job of Titan Defense Industry ships in Fractured Space. So, yeah, that's just a good chunk of the like space fighters and things like that I have been working on, as well as a map that I had started putting together. So yeah, last thing, this map, I wouldn't mind finishing it up and just saving it and posting it as a world for people to try. I will try and trim down the mods, like right now I have Sectan's armored suit here, which the suits are about 100 megs a pop, which is unfortunate because they are really cool. Like this is the battle suit, I believe the name of it is, and it's just, oh, it's so awesome. Come on, where's the gravity? There we go. I've just been loving his suits lately, especially this one because it looks like it's from Edge of Tomorrow, which it has like that exosuit feel, like just surrounding the arms and legs and everything, which is pretty similar to what actually exists currently, just, you know, actually functioning here and not in real life yet. Probably another 5-10 years we'll get them running properly. Alright, I am done rambling. I am probably going to have to trim down this episode, especially with trying to get hooked up in there. So, yeah, if you guys have any ideas for the name of my little salvager fighter over here, please let me know in the comments down below. If you guys enjoyed the episode, please hit that like button. I'll see you guys next time.